Salutations. Welcome to the Cars, Bars, and Guitars podcast episode number 72. I am AJ.
And I'm Steve.
Steve, who are we brought to you today by?
10 years on Last FM with 570,000 Scrabbles and 12,600 artists played.
Those are rookie numbers. I'm going to need you to bring those up.
Yeah, go ahead, find some with better figures that, just leave an MP3 player or three running at the same time for the better part of that length of time, and they'll skew the figures quite nicely. So my top 8 artists on this are Bad Religion, Beast Boys, Queens of Stone Age, Dead Kennedys, The Beatles, Alice in Chains, NoFX, and Soundgarden. These should be no surprises to anybody.
And no, they shouldn't be, and your musical tastes are impeccable.
Yes, I think, and the only one, probably the newest band that I got into in the list was 08 with Queens of Stone Age that my friend Bill at the time lived in Charlotte. I was like, hey, man, you got to check these guys out. Okay. He was onto something,
And it was all downhill from there.
Also, yeah.
Well, Steve, what are you drinking today?
I don't know where they fall on the list, but this is courtesy of Tamalica. I found Internight.
Where'd you find it?
The Lowe's Foods in Harrisburg. I went looking for cheap barbecue and instead wound up with sushi because I have $5 sushi Wednesdays.
Okay, how is the sushi?
Guess what I had home? Totally okay for $5 grocery store sushi.
That's fair.
I don't feel terribly hungry, and more importantly, I don't feel sick afterwards. So there's that.
What more can you ask for? I'm drinking a Davis County bourbon, which I think we've had before. I've got 2 of them.
The Davies.
Yeah, I'm also drinking a
table here.
Black is Beautiful.
Oh,
it's my last one, unfortunately, because this is a really good beer. But I'm pretty sure they're going to make. I don't know if this is going to be like a one-time thing or if they're going to keep making it. But I'm totally okay drinking the last of this one today.
Sure.
So, how much was the Metallica beer?
I think that was 12 for $6. So that winds up being $2 a tall boy.
Okay, they're all tall boys?
Yeah, they're 16 ounces.
Oh, cool. What are the stats?
Long can and
oh, cool. This makes
that many.
Okay. This makes for good radio.
I've got the capacity to compare. I'm gonna try to prop this up a different way.
Nice. What style and what's the ABV again?
That almost worked. A Pilsner, oddly enough, and 5.7. So I think for a Pilsner, that makes it pretty strong.
Yeah.
If I don't wind up bumping the phone, I've got one of those crazy dash clips I told you about.
Yeah.
One that got stretched by the dashboard, that took it inside and made a good desk mount, and on the battery charger that got linked to the phone and to the tablet. And, hey guys, it's 2020, and I managed to find, for a buddy of ours tip, a removable battery that still has a headphone jack that is waterproof, dustproof, and shockproof. And found it for $140 fewer because my Note 4 was busy dying. So not like thanks pressure for the batteries, but apparently the phone operated worse on the both of those.
Yeek. Well, Steve, I shared off mic with you some of my very unlike me. Well, we got the storm door put on the house, and by we got it put on the house, I mean I did it, and I hear, oh my God, babies, and then I see the kitties running, and then I get the doorbell ring, and since the door's open, they clearly know somebody's home, so I look out. It's AT&T reps, and they're pretty young, and they were just at, hey, who does your service? And I figure I would entertain them, just, how much do you pay for this? How much do you pay for your internet? And, well, next Tuesday, I'm getting AT&T installed.
All right. So you actually did. Let's visit.
I have a gigabyte of internet, and it's a direct line. It's not a shared line, and that's actually really neat. And our internet and TV together will have more channels than we got with Dish Network now. Dish Network just by itself was $115 a month, and then the internet's $50. This is going to be $119.99 for 2 years for both of those things.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice.
I think what we've got now is AT&T, DSL, and DirecTV. And I think it was initially $100 for the first year, and then it wouldn't tell us what the second year's rate was then.
Mm-hmm.
I think it wound up being like $120, $130 for the second year. But by keeping them bundled, we've got unlimited broadband access instead of a terabyte cap a month. Had we gone just with the internet, which would have been $80 instead of $120.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron watches the TV a lot more than I do. Otherwise, I was perfectly happy to drop the dish connection. But she still likes her shows. Like, never mind whatever the iPad can do.
Nice. We Emily watches the TV more.
I wound up picking up 2 Rokus and 2 over-the-air converter boxes, preparing for it. It's like, well, what the hell? They weren't expensive, so it was just more toys to play with. So if the satellite goes out, which it often does, or a storm will knock it loose, hopefully yours doesn't have the same fate, that high definition may not function properly. And most channels will have a low def option as well.
Right.
There's some settings to bounce it back and forth, so it looks like all of our channels have doubled.
Yeah. She was surprised that we had Dish. She goes, "This is the first person that's had Dish in a long time."
There's still a thing. Mm-hmm. You have a Blockbuster subscription too.
Well, we're going to have HBO, and also a lot of the streaming platform has a lot of the same shows that Netflix and Hulu has on it too. So I really might not even. I'll probably keep Netflix and Hulu because it's pretty cheap anyway. But hey, I didn't know I was going to be saving money today. But I told us I usually don't answer the door, but my door was already open, so it's kind of like I can't pretend nobody's home. And we were going to do this. We were thinking about doing it anyway, and they just kind of saved me the trouble. And she said, honestly, she goes, and this was actually her word. She goes, actually, look, no bullshit. You get better rates from the door-to-door people than you do if you just go online and do the shopping for it. So I was like, well, that's good to know.
Imagine. One of my most irritating things going to Costco are what I like to call it DirecTV vultures.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you have for your TV? He's like, AT and DirecTV. He's like, oh, cool. You enjoy it? Yeah. All right. See you later. Cool. Don't want to talk to you.
Big
That's
gulps,
when I go in, get my giant. I want to get my giant pack of beer, my giant pack of paper towels, and my giant $5 rotisserie chicken, and get the fuck out. Leave me alone.
What do you use for internet? 2 cans and a string. Fuck off. So, yep, I indulged a door-to-door salesman, but actually I'm saving money. The what?
It's an ISDN line, which was marginally faster than modems were.
I think I'm going to enjoy having a fiber, a 1 gigabyte fiber line. I do believe so.
Yes. Not that you're doing necessarily a whole lot of downloading, but for streaming high-def video content, have you encountered any buffering with, YouTube, Netflix, whatever you are viewing over the internet?
Only when I'm using my wireless buds, which still use the same network, so it actually should alleviate that problem. So, evidently they do. The wireless buds use the same. I don't know how any of this shit works, but that's what I read. Like the same like over Bluetooth.
That does not compute. Oh well.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I might have read the wrong thing, but would Reddit lie to me?
Depends on which what subreddit you're in.
It was pretty. We can go over that later.
Bad bad tech support memes.
Well, Steve, before we get into the news, have you got anything new, exciting you want to share with everybody out in the podosphere?
I'm currently in the running for some sort of IT gig with the company that I started back in March for a position with said company I applied for back in January and didn't get. But apparently that's on the table, but there's no time frame as to when it may be starting. Oh, good, because it's so much fun getting home sweaty and exhausted. But hey, there is overtime to be had. Unfortunately, often on Saturdays. So hopefully the new gig will be more money and more normal hours, and not have to go slog away my Saturdays from here through February.
Well, we'll look on the bright side.
They keep wanting more numbers, and we don't have the stuff ready to go. And my department is not the problem.
Well, you can join.
We cranked out 130 cars today.
Well, you can join the ranks of my life and be relatively tone and weight staying under wraps for forever because of manual labor.
Yeah, funny because all the jobs I've had have kept me on my feet, except for the data center. But there were days then I had to run printers too, and that was just awful. But yeah, my highest ever was $180, and I'm sustaining 170 with no effort.
Yeah, I think you probably weigh a little less than me now. I think when I had to go to the doctor, I was at 174, but I think I'm like an inch taller than you, maybe. So I think we're probably about the same size. Even though my pant size is weird.
Yeah, it's like, oh, wait, you've been in my pants.
Yeah, that was a while back, literally. And they were too short because I wear a 30. I wear a 33-inch waist and a 34-inch length.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a 34-30.
Yeah, I have a Gumby body. Hey, well, good luck with the IT, man. I'm really do hope it works out for you. And then
I'm really excited for that. I've been talking with the guy there, and he was impressed and not upset with my exploit of turning the computers in my department into hotspots since they're all wired, and the internet connection over wireless via the established router just wouldn't stay connected to the phones. Mm-hmm. We're using iPhones to shoot on, which has sped up the process greatly, assuming that the app works or the app can connect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a wild hair, after burning my 15 gig wireless hotspot data cap last month, which worked beautifully. Thanks, Verizon. I'm going to need to figure out something else. And I did. And it worked. So everyone's quite impressed, and he just wanted the phones to phone home once a day on the network, just asset protection and make sure that yes, they're still here.
Right.
It's funny because the box they are kept in overnight. There's 4 phones in rotation and 3 chargers.
Womp.
It's not that big a deal to conjure up another charger and cord. Fuck it, you reimburse me the $10. I'll go to Five Below and pick it up right now.
I have a weird. I have something along the same lines. We have our Telzon, our scan guns at work that we use for everything. They put them on the charger at night, and at midnight the store actually goes at third power. So it because there's nobody there, there's no point in all the outlets working. The room they have the Telzons in doesn't have power to it all night. So everybody comes in and always complains, the batteries are not charged all overnight. Now, my personal one in my department does stay charged, but I hide the extra batteries because they're all idiots, and nobody's picked up on this yet.
Have they considered rewiring this conundrum or moving the charger. This sounds really simple to fix.
It's very simple to fix, and nobody's thought to do it. And not my zoo, not my animals.
Just call me Stevie Fix.
Nice. Stevie Fix can nix your something. I don't know. Well, good luck, Steve. And now it's time to do the news. Steve, Bill Burr hosted Saturday Night Live Saturday, and did you happen to see or hear anything from it?
No, but I can imagine the average SNL audience member is not prepared for him.
It was amazing. All right, so this being CBG Pod, Bill Burr's SNL takes shots at pumpkin beer via Samuel Adams in the Real Bostonians Try Pumpkin Beer ad, and he's just shitting on it like the whole time while he's drinking it.
Nice.
And he's talking like with a really thick Boston accent. It's very YouTubeable, and you need to check it out when we get done with this.
Excellent. Back in my more advanced eye patch days, I think it was the 40th anniversary special that got flagged from my previous ISP.
Really? Well, next up, Steve, the highest ABV of any beer ever has been achieved this year. It was a collaboration between Schorschbrau of Germany, SCHORSCHBRAU. Is that Schorschbrau?
Schorschbrau, sure, I've never heard of them.
All right, of Germany, and Brewdog of Scotland. I've heard of Brewdog. Never had anything from
that
there.
Was what I had on the. That's what I had on the previous episode. The Punk IPA was fantastic.
Oh, nice! I didn't realize they were from Scotland.
That Scottish brewery, and I kept seeing ads on Facebook saying that you can go be an investor and see what happens whenever it's got the American production.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there were 55,000 investors, and now they're selling beer. Oddly enough, at the Lowe's in Harrisburg. It's like, one of these days, I make the Vortex, but in the meantime, I keep finding all the cool shit at Lowe's across the sidewalk. Whoops.
And you don't have to tip the cashiers.
No.
Do you want to take a
Especially
guess?
Especially not the self-checkout line. Sorry, humans with such jobs.
The beer is called Strength in Numbers.
I figured like it might as well have been a collaboration with any brewery, of course, Scotland, and I don't know, any Everclear.
What is the AB? All right, so I'll give you the. All right, so both Schorschbrau and Brewdog were in the runnings each year for the highest ABV, and both of them got to 32%. This one is now the record. They just collaborated and made a higher one. So, Steve, what is it?
64.
That's a little bit ambitious, but it was actually 57.8%. You got closer than you thought you did, didn't you?
Well, I went over, but I still lost.
57.8% that's a tall drink of water right there.
Yeah, funny that you mentioned this was 57%, whereas my previous beer, this Pilsner, it might as well be an IPA, hooray, was 5.7. And this is well worth the $2 a can admission price. Oh, darn.
It sold out immediately. They have no plans on making it again. But I can't find a price for it anywhere. I know it's not for sale anymore, but I'm like researching it and I can't find like what it went for when it got sold. So I've got nothing. I would imagine if I had to guess, I'd say $300 or $400, but that's just a conservative estimate.
Or like per can, per bottle, per case, per keg.
It's not. I think it was in. No, it's in a bottle that has like one of those pop top things on top, but it also has a wax coating on top
the integrated,
of that.
The old school top bottle. I know what you're talking about, and I don't know what to call it.
I don't either. I think there was one beer. One beer has it that we've had a couple of different times, and it's like the name is escaping me, but you know what I'm talking about. It has like the loop, not the twist tie one, but the one you pop and then like do the mechanism. I don't know what you fucking call that.
Right. Yeah. The Grolsch bottle.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
I was noticing that on Grolsch and like the fancy ginger ale at Aldi had a similar thing where you've got the rubber stopper integrated into a ceramic cap and a metal hinge mechanism that is used to seal and unseal the bottle.
Yeah.
Right?
What's the highest ABV beer you've ever had?
Sam Adams Utopia. Once upon a salsa trip a long time ago, one of the regulars there won it in a competition, since North Carolina ABC laws cap it at now 15%, much better than up until August 05, it was 6%.
Mm-hmm.
So Utopia, weighing in at 23%, he won this bottle. A beer so fancy, it arrives in its own trophy.
Yeah.
Is about what this bottle looks like.
Nice.
A trophy with an abacus attached to it. It was ridiculous.
You can count on that.
That was well calculated, as well as this Appalachian Longleaf had on show before, and hey, it was 15 for a 12-pack.
That is one of my favorite
IPAs. Got anything open? Got anything open right now?
No.
Oh well, here goes this. The mic is on this side.
All right, so on my end, everything you've done is exactly the same volume because it's going through the audio card on the phone. So actually, I would much
going through. So I just need to be on something with a mic right next to my face. All these fancy microphones are bullshit. All I need is a pinhole.
Well, it doesn't matter how. I mean, it would obviously matter if you whispered, but it's funny because when you were close to it, it didn't get. The peaks didn't get any louder.
It doesn't.
There's no. It's just all a solid line that's like all compressed. And I got to be honest, this makes editing. This takes a quarter of the time to do because there's no mic bleed on either side. But I would still much rather have you here than I would to do this. But it is still very fun, and it's much better than not doing it at all.
Also, yes.
Embargo lifted.
It's you too.
Embargo lifted next week, I hope.
Yeah.
Only a couple more. You know, we did an episode last week, and there's not a whole lot of beer news going on, but the Casual Pint of Fort Worth, Texas, now has a Bloody Mary pickle beer.
Gimme. Pickle, I'm ambivalent, but I love me a Bloody Mary.
More for you. Well, what if they did the Bloody Mary beer, and then they garnished the outside like they did the cinnamon sugar with the pumpkin beer? What if they garnished it with, like, pickle stuff?
Maybe. I think margarita seasoning, a salted rim would serve that very well.
Salted pickle
or
rim.
A garlic rower.
Job. I don't know. Salted pickle rim job doesn't. Well, Rule 34, guys.
That sounds incredibly unappealing.
Doesn't it, though? And last but not least, Steve, Woodford Reserve releases their most expensive bottle of bourbon ever for the United States market, called the Baccarat Edition, and it's $2,000. I honestly thought it was going to be more than that.
Well, it's not pending and legal, so there's that.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you, the highest ABV I've ever had was here when we did the white chocolate macadamia nut stout that was 15%. I think that one, or the was the Evil Twin, the One of the evil twins is close to that too, but that's the too high. I've never had one as high as the 20s like you had, but that was the
that's
highest.
the one thing. Otherwise, it will, anything even above 10%, not common to come by.
No, and it's been all right. So stop me if I'm wrong, but aren't the higher gravity beers like the Russian Imperials and the ones that are super high, aren't those really, really hard to brew correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any idea of the science behind that? Because I don't.
Not a clue. I wonder if Brandon may be able to have some input on it, or Mark Melcher, like anyone that's done the brewing, or if we could somehow get in touch with, say, Chad Henderson of NODA, previous Foster regular.
Ooh, hey,
He'd probably know a thing or two about that.
Why don't we have him on and do it at NODA?
That'd be fantastic if we could pull that string. Speaking of, they released their Sticky When Wet, the wet hop beer Friday.
I love wet hop beer.
I need to keep an eye out for that. And yes, do you know why that is such a rare thing?
Do tell.
Wet hops are typically shipped in from the state of Washington, where hops grow very well. And to have wet hops shipped increases your shipping cost, 4 to 8-fold because of all the waterway.
Yeah.
Typically, it's hop extract or dry hops that are used to make the beer. But the wet hop makes it all the better because the whole plant's at use instead of it having been dried and therefore some oils and magic being lost in the process. One of my early favorites was the Terrapin So Fresh and So Green. Oddly enough, it was 9 years today. I was at the Terrapin Brewery for the tour before the Decatur Beer Festival, which I haven't been in 2 years, and this year, of course, it's canceled.
Let's go next year.
Yeah, that's a fun one. And it was a really cool spot, too, hanging out with the Hagans, being able to walk from their house, previously the townhouse, now from their house. So it had been 2 miles and 3 miles to walk to downtown Decatur. Sort of the Matthews of Atlanta, but with a lot more character.
Well, yeah.
And a lot more super old houses, too, like, by American standards, stuff from the 1920s instead of the 1950s.
Yeah, Charlotte tends to. I like living here, but they do tend to tear down the old and rebuild. There's hardly any old stuff.
I discovered, even like stuff that's not even that old. Found out that the Ross store in University area went in yesterday. It was gutted.
Ooh.
Well, turns out they're going to be moving across the sidewalk. So the side where the Applebee's is and Michael's and where TJ Maxx used to be is about a ghost town. Obviously, Steak Snacks is gone. Saigon Bay closed, and they've got a new joint opened somewhere further south on Tryon. But they went downhill after new management. I missed that place when it was good. But they're moving across the way over by the Taco Bell and the Real Mexican joint and the old Walmart and the Sam's Club still there, maybe. But anyway, that side of it, because that building's about to be demolished to make room for apartments.
Of course.
I don't know if the wine vault side is still going to be up and running. So that would make the wine vault and company entirely surrounded by apartments by that point.
Yeah.
That was always such a cool shopping center.
And I like the wine vault a lot. I liked playing at the wine vault, but then that one day where we were like outside and it was November and nobody was outside and they insisted that we played the entire 4-hour show and nobody was there. I was like, hey, how about we take a little... I usually do this at places that they're not dead. Sorry. So say it was a $200 gig for 4 hours. I'd be like, hey, it's not really that busy. What if we, help you guys out? You pay us $50 less, and then we play 3 hours. And they were like, no, you're going to play 4 hours. I'm like, okay. And then they're, oh, by the way, it's not a $200 gig on Sundays. It's actually $150. I'm like, you didn't tell me that. And by the way, no, I hate to sound like this, but I'm not playing a 4-hour show for $150. Like, I'm sorry. Like, no. That's a lot of strain on my voice to do that.
Yeah. Yep. 10 years ago, I went out with the girl that works there, oddly enough, named Karen.
What was she?
Now has become the colloquialism. No, she was cool. It went nowhere quickly, and then she wound up marrying a guy out of Wellington, but
that's okay.
It went nowhere quickly. Whatever. Walking on the bridge.
Evidently, the TJ Maxx, the gutted one in University that you were talking about, is now
moved to IKEA.
Yeah, it's actually now it's a polling station for voting, early voting.
Oh wow!
Yep, and
I was seeing that at some place when I still had a Guilford County registration, like a vacant storefront being used as such. Since you have a lot of space, sure.
Yeah, normally I vote at the Mint Hill Library, but evidently they're not doing early voting this year, and I thought they were. So now I have to go. I'm going to go to.
Perfect. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, every year I've been here, I've like 2016, 2018, I voted at the library. Evidently, it's not listed on the website at all, and it's not listed on their Facebook page like it usually is. So I'm going to Independence High School after work tomorrow to vote.
So tomorrow's the 15th. That's when it starts.
Yeah, and I have a feeling I'm just going to drive by it and see what the parking lot looks like, because it's probably going to be busy.
Yeah. Here's a neat trick with wireless headphones. I can walk away from this to pick up something in relation to that.
Okay. I am intrigued. How's the connection with the wireless when you walk away?
I can hear everything.
Nice. What am I thinking?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, of course you've seen Forrest Gump, right?
A million times. Yeah, I know where you're going with this, but please go.
And, of course, you've seen all the cute signs for the incorrect candidate, right?
Yes.
Guess what showed up with the same time my cell phone case yesterday?
That's amazing. That's amazing. Is that going on the front?
I do believe so. I'm not putting a bracket on the car, but I think if I get a month's use out of it, it's well worth the $9.
Put it in the back window like people do with their temp tags that bother the shit out of me.
You've seen how tiny the window is on that car, right?
I know that license plate would probably take up a third of it.
Yeah, funny you mention that because the back wiper blade is an 8-inch blade.
Jesus Christ!
Like I wound up ordering the entire blade and arm assembly off of eBay for it.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure out how to remove it, so wound up just taking the blade part, sliding that out, and sliding it into the extra one. It's like, oh, well, this is much easier than I thought. So I'm going to find a 16-inch insert, cut that in half, and then slide it in for next go round. I'm in business.
Stop.
The front end was much easier.
Stop me if you feel like I'm incorrect, but any car that's either a wagon or an SUV that has a straight up and down rear window, I don't personally believe that a rear wiper is necessary.
Did you ever notice the back of the Jeep getting particularly dirty?
It does, but just clean the window once with a good Rain-X cleaner, and any kind of water that gets on it.
Or how about, or if not just the window, but like the back bumper, the back tailgate, on either of them.
It gets dirty.
I think part of it's also just convenience sake that you have rear visibility just to be able to zap it while you're driving, clear it. Frankly, I like having a back wiper blade altogether.
If I could remove it on the new one, I would.
Apparently something with the...
But you can't.
Is that as complicated as the headrest?
Well, because
really?
the motor... the motor is where, the motor assembly is bolted like not on the glass, but in that area, and you can't because the glass part, the clear part of the glass where you can see through is. If I took it off, there would still be that part of the window that I couldn't see. So there's really no point in taking it off. And there's a giant spare tire blocking my view, but I can still see behind me, and there's no more headrests. So I can see exponentially better behind me than I used to be able to.
Yeah, I had to play one of one at work to realize yours fold backwards.
Mm-hmm. JL's
they
fold forwards.
That was a problem that was the problem with my car, that they folded forwards and not all the way, that I struggled up and down trying to figure out how to do that. It's like, there's a pair of pinch mechanisms to pull the thing out. And then I showed up on the sign form, like, A, yes, you can do that, and 2, that's really dangerous. Not if nobody's riding back there.
Look, it's only dangerous when you get in an accident.
With 6 months of this car, so far, so good.
I plan on living forever.
It'll be the Thanksgiving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think by the 17th would be right at 6 months with it. I'll be around 7,500 miles.
Well, you didn't drive a whole lot for those first couple months.
That too, that part-time work schedule put a damper on it, and also not having the valet gig. But in 3 cars, I managed to get 20,000 miles in the first year. It was on the Camry, the first Tacoma, and the Vibe. And at the pace I was racking up miles on the 98 GTI, it would have. I put 11,000 miles in that car in 5 months. Not bad for a car that wouldn't keep running.
Yeah, I will be doing my first oil change in the new Jeep coming up, and I'm happy to report that the oil filter is the easiest oil filter to get to of any vehicle I've ever owned.
You just have to climb under it, right?
No, it's on the top.
Or crawl over it, rather.
It's on the top.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've always found it a little disconcerting. It's like, then what's living at the base of your engine? Or is this where you drain it and you hope for the best?
All right, so it has, instead of having your traditional oil filter that's the plastic with the filter on the inside and then the, plastic or metal on the outside, this is the actual filter. So you take the top off with a wrench and pop that off, and then pull the filter out, and then stick the new filter in, and then put the plastic back on top, and then you're done with your oil filter.
And it's just a high enough pressure mechanism that whatever gunk is living at the bottom of the engine just ship through.
Yeah, and evidently the Pentastar V6 is
the gravity makes me a little nervous about that.
I don't, but evidently the Pentastar V6 is a pretty damn good engine. Much better than the outgoing 3.8, but I mean, walking on your hands is better than that.
Well, seeing as the 3.6 they put in everything, much to every rental charger's chagrin, but the fact they've enjoyed that engine so much, it went in everything, does say a lot about it.
It does. It's absolutely a good engine. And it's a timing chain.
Yes. Nice.
All right, how many cars?
Speaking of that awful second Volkswagen.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many cars have you had that are timing chain? Without looking it up. Well, if you have to look it up, do, but if you could remember, that would be great.
Off the top of my head, I could think of 4. It would be both Tacomas. 5 of them. So both Tacomas, the VR6 GTI, the Vibe, and the IM. But funny thing about the VR6, apparently the plastic guides for the timing chain would dissolve. Therefore, you'd have to change the guides and the timing chain.
Why would
Luckily,
they?
we never had that problem, like the many issues with that penny pinching or just bad engineering. It was I had a couple of GTIs roll through today. It's like I really want to like this. I know better, but I really want to like this.
Ask Eric
They're
King.
both white with the
Ask Eric King. Eric King's got a Golf.
Yeah, and when that thing was due for a grand's worth of service, that was a bit of an eye opener. Like,
Yeah.
it's a 5-year-old car, so these things happen.
True.
And and that being a more modest Volkswagen than he got a Golf R. We'd love it if he did, but that's a lot more moving parts.
Yeah.
A lot more shit to go wrong. But I think that's really what he should get next. To hell with the house in Fort Rock Hill Mill. Get a Golf R, Eric.
Yeah. Look,
You heard it from
you can sleep
the
in your
Volkswagen
car.
skeptic.
You can sleep in your car, but you can't drive a house.
True.
Uh,
For shits and giggles, I did consider a Mazda 5. You know how difficult it is to find one with a 6-speed?
unobtainium.
That was just about. To have the last of the stick-shifted minivans.
Yeah.
It always been entertaining.
They
For
can't all.
me and my imaginary children.
They can't all be Previous.
If only. I've heard it's incredibly dangerous, by the way.
I would imagine so. You're not supposed to sit on top of your engine.
Yeah, you're sitting on top of the engine, and this is before modern crash standards. Like, yes, they added airbags to them, but there's only so much in that vehicle's 3,000 pounds of sheet metal between you, the steering column, and the bumper.
So let's see. The only one I'm not sure of timing belt versus timing chain is my Maxima. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, Steve, this is going to be kind of strange for me because
What if it's not an IPA?
It is.
This is wait. Yes, it's an IPA.
Yes.
What's the name of that, man? It's an IPA. Not just kidding.
Both Starions are timing chain. The Dodge truck was.
I still hope that they're both a 2.6 turbo.
Yeah, the Dodge truck was timing chain and plutonium. The Astrovan 4.3 liter Vortec was timing chain. The Accord was timing belt.
Hondas were famously belt.
The Civic was timing
and that
belt.
100 belt.
S2000 was timing chain. Yes.
Interesting.
S2000 was timing chain. The Maxima was timing chain. I just looked it up.
Okay.
The Cherokee was timing chain. The TSX and Emily's Accord is timing chain.
Belt.
No.
Whoa.
They're chain. They are chain.
The times they are chaining.
And the Wrangler is timing chain. So I've had 11 vehicles now, and I've only had 2 timing belts. That's actually that's pretty rare.
Yeah, that really is. Kind of the funny thing about having somewhat more niche vehicles in some of these, that maybe they are better built because of that. Now I'm curious about the Volvos.
I would think they were belt, but because I don't know, like, are most European cars, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of the Beamers are chain, but I think a lot of the Mercs are belt. I have no idea. I am talking out of my ass. Now I want to make sure the Civic is timing belt. I would be shocked if it wasn't.
Apparently, Well, I punched in Volvo 740 timing belt, and it is giving me step-by-step guide to changing the timing belt on the 2.3 liter 240 slash 740 slash 940 Volvo.
Yep.
So both of those Volvos would have had timing belts. I'm surprised since that held in such a robust engine.
And I just looked it up. The Civic, all the four bangers and Hondas sold stateside from the 90s were basically belt.
Do you know why belts were used instead of chains?
Either gas mileage or save weight, or quiet for NVH.
Quiet.
Really?
Noise. But
a chain is metal and a belt is rubber. So yeah, it might be. Well, you know what? The Wrangler has a timing chain. That is honestly, the exhaust is super loud now because of me, but the engine, that is a super quiet engine. Now, the XJ's engine was not, but it had 350,000 miles on it. It didn't tick.
Does the Wrangler have the integrated fan on the front of it? Did the Cherokee have that? You know, the old school engine that would have
Cherokee had
a big ass fan attached to the crankshaft.
Cherokee had
that. The
crankshaft.
It just sounds like it's wheezy.
No. It didn't have the crank. No, it didn't have that. The fans were on the radiator, but not to the crankshaft.
Okay, so electric instead.
Yeah, it was electric. Yeah, it wasn't the manual fan. Now I want to say up until about 92, because they redesigned the 4.0, and I think like 92, 93, I think right when the Grand Cherokee came out, I think they changed it because of that sort of, Grand Cherokee being the like luxury SUV sort of thing. But if I could still find a 93 Cherokee, Grand Cherokee with the stick, I would actually still entertain the thought of buying that.
Much like if I could find a decent condition T100.
Good luck.
Never mind. One of these is going to cost way more than the other. Yeah, they just don't exist.
No, because everybody beats them to shit.
Yeah, it was like, it's this legendary truck. Like, yeah, this is like 300,000 miles on a driver's seat, cheered to high hell, but it still looks good. $7,000. Oh, I got.
Good.
Just to see you.
Yeah.
I figure at this point, like my obscure giant truck purchase is going to be like an 05 or 06 Tundra with a 6-speed, because those were the 2 years the original body style could be had with the 4.0 instead of the 3.4 and a 6-speed instead of a 5.
Absolutely, because if some is good, more is better.
And then in 07 they went, and then in 07 they went to the bigger, badder opposite of a Prius style.
So I have a list right now, Steve, of all the cars that just the 3.6. All right, so the Pentastar engine has 3-liter and 3.2 liter varieties, but for our sake, we're gonna do 3.6. So, do you want to try to guess?
Because that what matters here.
I think try to guess.
Charger, Challenger, 300, Wrangler. Baby Ram.
Not the 300. Oh, yeah, there it is. There it is. 300, yeah.
Got to figure if the Challenger has it, it has it.
Yeah, Challenger, Charger. You said Challenger, Charger, 300, 300, and Wrangler.
And I would venture a guess that a V6 Ram would have it.
Yes.
And if a Dakota was ever still a thing, that would have it.
Yeah, but not only the Ram truck, what other Ram vehicle would have it?
Van?
The Ram van, the cargo van. Now think minivans.
And was that so like so there's a front driver version too?
Yep.
So that would be the TNC, the Pacifica, the Caravan. Because for the longest time, you'd see a bunch of Caravans with a 4.0 badge on it. Like, but why?
And the Voyager?
It's not this.
The 2020 Chrysler Voyager.
Wait, that Pardon?
2020 Chrysler Voyager. Evidently, Chrysler released the Voyager, re-release, because it used to be Plymouth, and now they've re-released it.
Right, because I grew up in the back of an '88 Voyager with a fake vinyl wood trim.
Better to grow up in one than be conceived in one.
Heyo. Yeah, that van happened to all three of us, so at least that's not a disturbing thought. Thanks.
The Chrysler 200.
Although my favorite Chrysler minivan is the Volkswagen Rutan.
The Rutan has that engine, as does the Chrysler 200. The V6 Dodge Journey, which is a horrible car, but the engine's good. The Avenger from 2011 to 2014.
So many of those.
The base model Durango.
The Journey. Grand Cherokee.
And for your European-only models, the Lancia Voyager, the Lancia Thema, and the Fiat Fremont. The Fiat Fremont is a Dodge Journey. I just pulled it up. But here's something curious.
When rebadging your Freightliner Dodge Sprinter van is Mercedes because it's Mercedes. All right, now I need to rebadge my Chrysler minivan as a Lancia.
Here's something that's weird to me.
That's going to be as absurd as me rebadging an early 90s Toyota pickup as a Volkswagen because, hey, that was a thing back in the day. The Volkswagen Taro was a Toyota pickup on the European market, but Europeans don't buy pickups.
No.
So that experiment lasted 5 years.
Well, here's something curious for me. It looks like the Charger and the Ram 1500 V6 get the 305 horsepower engine, whereas they only put the 280, or they detuned it to 285 for the Wrangler. Now, the Wrangler is every bit as heavy as those cars. Trust me, I have one now. And why wouldn't you give it?
Right.
Why wouldn't you give it the 300? I mean, I'm sure that there's some kind of reflash for it, but why wouldn't you get that from the factory? They're not cross-shopping those vehicles.
Would that detune somehow increase torque?
Maybe.
Is it a drivetrain issue?
I don't know.
I mean, never mind. That's one of the most heavily modified vehicles on the planet. So, and I'm still baffled that there's still no such thing as a V8 Wrangler out of the factory, right?
There is now.
You can get a diesel Wrangler. Ooh.
For next year. And I'm so mad at myself because, like, I've only had one V8 in my life, which is one more than you've had. But it's...
Yeah, but also the 60s V8 back when, V8s were the only thing.
All right, so in it's a concept, but I think with the Bronco coming out, I think they're going to do it. But it's the Wrangler 392, and it's going to have a V8 and a 6-speed manual. 450 horsepower. That's amazing. Nothing like going that fast in a car that is a four-door convertible SUV. 6.4 liter. Very nice. 475, 470 torque. Whew. That's incredible.
Get my driver's license, get a natural aspirated V8. Doesn't have fewer moving parts, but that's going to be enough speed for me.
The Wrangler 392 concept gets 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds.
Holy shit!
That is incredible. It did occur to me that I did sell my convertible sports car and my SUV and got a convertible SUV.
Only to make it a bit more sports car-ish.
Fair. I will be doing the headliner. I'm going to put the headliner kit in it to not only look nicer, but in the winter and the summer it'll cool it down. The winter
A
it'll
little
kind of warm it up.
insulation won't hurt. Yeah.
I need another.
Be right back.
Yeah, I need another beer. What are you gonna
Yeah,
get
you
next?
Random thing for the Appalachian Mountain box.
Ooh, I'm gonna get a random something or other from the beer fridge. The thing is, you talking is gonna pick up a lot better, so I can at least wait till you get a little bit closer. I'm trying to eyeball what I've got here.
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, I can hear you, but I can't see anything.
Well, now my liquor collection downstairs after my trip the other day is up to 44 bottles. So now I'm trying to catch Sean Preston.
Yeah, I gotta say, what's up, Sean?
I got the salt. Remember that little travel bottle of salted caramel liqueur that we had about 20 episodes ago?
Uh-huh.
I got the whole bottle at the ABC store in University, and the Woodinville, which is one of my favorite bourbons I've ever had. They had the regular Woodinville that I got, which is the one I was just talking about. Well, they have like a special run of different ones, and this is their like special edition that's only sent to North Carolina, and it's from Washington State. This one's I think 122 proof. And I'm going to open it up in the mountains, or next week if you come to in person, we will do a celebratory. But it's supposed to be a very vanilla and creme brulee like flavor.
Nice.
And I like both of those things. So you enjoy a good creme brulee, don't you?
Yeah. I do.
Me too. My turn to get a beer. Now I don't know if I want a tall boy or a regular boy. But I haven't been to the store since last week, so I still have a lot of the same shit to choose from. So I might get a couple of repeats, but the topics will be new. And isn't that really the most important thing?
It is.
Oh, that sounded weird, Steve. The connection's weird. You kind of sounded like Max Headroom.
I'll be right back.
Is pizza gonna send out for you?
Is that now?
I can't hear Steve that good, but I hope you guys can hear me. Out of the beer fridge. Steve's still on lockdown. He will be hopefully back next week, so we'll be in studio and back at Saucer and all that good shit. And maybe we've been talking about doing some on-premise stuff. But because of COVID, that shit kind of went on the back burner. But I promise you guys we're going to try to do something on-premise, either at Saucer, Pour 64, at Noda, somewhere I've played quite a bit of music, have a good reputation at, I would prefer. So, as I spill beer all over the place. Steve, I got beer all over me.
You are beer. Therefore, beer is you. Beer is all over you.
All over beer, all over me. Steve, keep the people entertained while I clean myself up.
Ew.
Yeah, so it'll be your turn to do this.
Well, folks, Kaylin has just returned from getting her car patched up post-hurricane. Thanks to the magic of comprehensive insurance, this was way less awful a process than collision may have been, with less deductible, and only 2 days rental in a 2020 Nissan Rogue, which I can vouch can go over gravel roads just fine. I remember back in the late 90s auto journalism, the beginnings of the small sport utilities being referred to as soft roaders. Well, this will soft road very well. It's got lane departure warnings and night vision camera in the back, it seems, if you're trying to get it backed into a corner. That's GPS that I zoomed out so far, it thought I was in Bolivia. So that was fun. Lane assist, lane departure warning, whatever they call it. It'll beep at you if it detects a line here or a line there being way off the grid. So she still likes her 2016 CRV better because she should. When this thing has 30,000 miles on it, it's fine, but I've seen them. They don't age well. Whereas a 55,000 mile CRV remains ever robust. Now that I've bored the people half to death, welcome back, AJ. It's a really good mount. That clippy thing? Sort of. Or at least a live audio. Well, this is all wireless. If I take this to the car, it's going to freak out.
What's that?
So apparently, her car's back and it looks like a mirror. So I had to bore the people to death with the details surrounding post-hurricane damage and cars more better and the ins and outs of the Nissan Rouge that was a rental. I took it out last night on the gravel roads in the neighborhood since I don't have a lot of experience with those since most of the neighborhood's paved. And then the more remote parts are not. But the GPS is so stupid it thinks even the street I live on is unpaved. The driveway isn't, but the road is paved. And it will talk to you saying, warning, unpaved road. I know. You think the noise and the look will probably tell you, what's next? Someone's going to have a beer bottle for me, letting me know it's cold.
Yeah, that's like the old school Garmin that Emily used to have. That if you took 485, it would it would just circle and circle and circle in place. It didn't know where you were.
Oh yeah, it would freak out. Funny mention that I had a Mini Cooper today that had a factory GPS module in it.
Yeek.
I reconnected the thing it was a 2010 Mini, and it used the Mini USB connection. So of these smaller plugs, this is the larger thereof. Since you're used to using the micro USB,
right?
And they have USB-C, that really thin flat one.
Yeah,
so this is one that's slightly bigger than those from the late aughts.
Right.
So it was funny seeing this connector. It's well, here's the bracket, here's the wire, it was in the glove box. Here's a 2x3 GPS box. It was comically tiny. It's all right, got this thing set up. So, yes, this old car has GPS, and if you take it on 45, it will do the same thing because ain't nobody spring to get this stupid thing updated. Well, I had my old Garmin for 8 or 10 years and drove it till the battery died. And then the battery was so very dead that the unit wouldn't turn on. That's when I hatched it open to see if I could swap battery, during which I severed the connector from the screen to the rest of the unit.
Yeah.
So it went from full functionality to only car power functionality to the screen is black or the screen is white. So it was dead. Good news, you hatched it open. Bad news, be careful doing that. But this is also right about the time I had a first smartphone, so it was a good run. I don't need this anymore.
Yeah. Do you know what? Hypercar. Thank you, dear. Okay. You know what Hypercar does not? He says hi, by him. Do you know what Hypercar does not come with a factory nav system?
Koenigsegg.
Probably, but definitely the Bugatti. And Bugatti said it didn't because they didn't want it to be out of date the year after the car came out. Very fair. I don't know why you would get a car with nav anyway. Why would you? Every phone has it.
I see a lot of them. It is such an expensive option to start with, and in the last decade of smartphones, you just do not need it.
No.
Like, it's convenience sake, like, what? So you have a flip phone and your car has nav? Good luck.
Well, and I know you're an aftermarket head unit guy. I'm not, but if a stranger peers into my car, they're going to see a factory head unit. They're not going to really want to break into it and steal it.
No. So especially you have your head unit has a screen rivaling one of my digital watches. And the illumination's certainly better, but beyond that, no.
No. And I'm happy with it because I'm not. No. It's funny because I'm an audiophile at home, but in the car, like my stock speakers are okay. I'm probably going to upgrade them to sound a little better, and then fill the bar above my head with foam to kind of reduce the rattles at loud volume. But other than that,
I like seeing I like seeing like the speaker bar options on the Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
They could really deck that out.
It is an endless aftermarket support for Wranglers in anything like suspension, engine, like audio, any possible thing you could want. How's the aftermarket for the Scion?
Slim.
Really?
At the very most, there are not a lot of things you can do to that car. The piggyback, I mean, but whatever that thing has to put on it that can either make it feel a little bit faster or feel slower than a Prius. That's one of them. Now, a few cosmetic options. The head unit has been really entertaining to see the same screen in a Corolla, but without the standard 7-inch din. There's also an option on Amazon that you can swap out the entire panel for a 10-inch screen, but $500.
10-inch?
I don't need a 10-inch screen in this little car.
Why?
If you were to have, say if you were to have like a built-in nav, have you been in any Tesla?
Never sat in one.
Are you aware of what lies in the middle of the dash on a 3 or an S or an X?
It's a giant Etch-a-Sketch.
It's a generously... absolutely. It's entertaining. It's distracting. It's super bright even though it's low setting, and that controls the whole car, which is real fun. We had one come through that the screen wasn't working.
Oy.
Well, that about cripples it.
That's a total.
And why am I looking at this thing in my line? Is that I would hope you just have to swap the screen out. But with the Tesla, they change the part numbers daily.
And
that'd be an incredibly difficult thing to keep running.
Yeah, Savage Geese was talking about that. It was like, there's no plan to update any of this software, if you can't get into the infotainment on some of these cars, then you can't even drive the fucking thing almost. Like, if I have to go into the infotainment to mess with my seats, then it's too far. This is going too far.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I miss our post-pod Mexican.
Me too. This is delicious.
Yeah, I might do that anyway, but then I'm going to get asked, hey, where's your buddy? Funny you should mention that.
Well, funny because that was the same thing that happened when I got takeout there a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah?
Hey, you said this anyway. Yeah, but
I think we're very memorable, is what I'm gathering from this.
they seemed like us, and it was funny. Like one trip over that way, like we weren't there, but like driving right next, like past the restaurant, leaving probably the ABC store. Like, yep, this is really cool, except for like NC creepy waiters, like except for that guy.
Yeah. Well, they can't all be zingers. Some have to be regular Twinkies. Well, Steve, I wanted to talk to you about now that I've spilled half of this fucking beer all over the place, and I think I've cleaned it up mostly good. There is an automotive designer whom I had no idea had a hand in designing this many cars. Did you happen to look it up?
Nope.
Good. Surprises.
I've not had a lot of dull moments in the last 24 hours.
I haven't had any dull moments in the last 7 days, but here we go. Giorgetto Giugiaro. Where's he from?
Italy.
Canada. Nah, he's from Italy. He's from Italy. He's still alive. Born August 7th, 1938. He has worked on supercars and everyday cars, as well as cameras, firearms, and motorcycles. This guy knows
how to live.
He has designed. He has quite the resume, Steve. So, Steve, in just Alfa Romeo, he's got, and it's a lot of the older cars and cars we don't get stateside, but 1, 2, 3, 4. About 16 different Alphas. He also designed the Eagle Premier.
What?
The Isuzu Impulse. 2 Lamborghinis.
He was behind the DeLorean, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Because the Impulse looks very DeLorean-ish.
Yep.
As did the original Scirocco.
Yes. Funny you should mention Volkswagen, Steve, because he designed the Scirocco. And also the 1974 Golf.
That's what it was about.
And also the Karmann Ghia. And the Passat. And the Jetta. And the W12.
Wait, like the original Passat?
1973.
That's a looking car.
1973.
Wait, that would have been back when it sold as the Dasher or the Quantum here.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't become the Passat till the 90s.
Yes. It has been marketed variously as the Dasher, Santana, Quantum, Magaton, Corsair, and the Carat. C-A-R-A-T.
Why are we not driving a Volkswagen Santana?
He has had a hand in it.
It better have a badass stereo in it. Meanwhile, I've seen a lot of Jettas that have Fender stereos.
Yeah.
I didn't know Fender made car stereos, but that automatically sounds cool.
3 Bugattis, the 112, 118, and 218. The interior seats of the Buick Park Avenue from 89 to 90. Daewoo, but we're going to forget that.
Really neat, considering like that was a gussied up LeSabre, that was a gussied up 88, that was a gussied up Bonneville back in those days.
The Aston Martin DB4, the Audi A80. Let's see here. Down. The De Tomaso Mangusta.
Nice. Me gusta, me gusta.
Let's see. The Mustang concept car in 2006, the Hyundai Excel, and the Hyundai Sonata. This guy has an impressive list of things he's done. Where was that? Where was the other one? It was BMW, the 3200 CS from 1961, and then the Nazca M12 concept.
My headset is getting upset with me.
You were popping a little bit just there. Am I popping?
No, my headphones are upset that the battery is dying.
Oh. We don't have to end this prematurely, do we?
I don't believe move this elsewhere with probably worse lighting, but not worse beer.
I was going to say you're popping a little bit, too.
Away from setup for a moment as I migrate.
Migrate. I can keep them entertained as I sit in my own beer I've spilled all over me.
Yeah, it's getting irritating to the point of the please charge warnings are popping.
Oh yeah,
probably it's like please charge, and you're dead.
Yeah, it's popping pretty badly.
Well,
now I can't hear you. I think that's on purpose.
The headset's dead. I'll be back.
Okay, I can actually hear you a lot better now. Oh, the joys of doing episodes and via basically two cans and a string. But yeah, I've spilt beer all over myself. I haven't spilt beer on a podcast yet. It's been 71 episodes. This is 72. I have not spilled any alcohol. Why did I do it today? Is it because I've been up since 4 a.m.? Is it because I'm hungry? Or is it because I'm clumsy? It's because I've been up since 4 a.m. It's been a long week at work. It's been a long 2 weeks at work. It's been a long year. Let's face it, guys. It's been a long year for all of us. But you know what? It could always be worse. Whatever kind of thing you have to be holding on to, whatever beacon of light you have to hold on to for positivity, just hold on to that little bit of light, whatever that little bit that makes you happy. If just sitting on the couch and watching TV while your dog sits beside you or your cat, if that's what makes you happy, and just enjoy that little moment. Not everybody gets to enjoy those moments. This has been a PBS public service announcement from your buddy AJ, whom's very hungry. And Mrs. Steve wishes Steve could come and have some Mexican food after a podcast in person. I hear some stirrings in the background. I know not what they are, because Steve is a good 10-minute drive from here. Right, Steve? Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? What's everybody being for Halloween? What are you going to dress up as? I dressed up as a pumpkin for the first 5 years of my life. We all did. All the kids did. We all had the same pumpkin outfit. So if you look back at the whole family history, we all had that same stupid pumpkin outfit with the derpy-looking face on it. Wasn't the best costume. That's what we had. And we loved it. We thought it was great. And we trick-or-treated like a motherfucker with that pumpkin costume on. We really enjoyed it. Plenty of candy. Now, I'm in my mid-30s. You eat that much candy, probably have to go to the hospital. Getting old sucks. The lady and gentleman I bought our AT&T connection from were like, what was your date of birth? And I told them, and I went, 86. And they went, 86? I'm like, yes, 86, not 96. Get off my lawn. You kids don't know about roll-up windows and cars without seat belts and fucking CDs. I still listen to CDs. Everybody laughs at me. It's like, hey, have you heard the new Alice in Chains CD? They're like, you mean album? Yeah, CD. I call it CDs. I know that shows my age. I didn't call it a record, though. I have a turntable, though. I need to get it rewired, though. The wiring is very, very ancient, as are the speakers, so it gets kind of poppy. But once I get that fixed, I might get to do the vinyl thing. Hey, Steve, he's back.
Hey, AJ. I'm taking the show upstairs, and hopefully the next pair of Bluetooth speakers are not dead.
Why didn't they call them Smurfs? Smurfs?
Smurf?
Is the plural of Smurfs Smurfs?
Smurfs. That's hilarious considering the whole show is called Smurfs. So I'm afraid not, but I like your thinking.
But it should be. It should be Smurf. Although Smurfs sounds like a disease you would get on a boat coming to the New World.
It's called Smurvy.
I want some more whiskey. I don't really want to continue the beer. Well, I do, but I don't want to drink all the good beer. You know as well as I do, the fall beer is our favorite, and I don't want to drink it all. Am I muted, or can you talk?
I'm currently without headphones.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Well, I was like hailing out of the house too because I'm stupid.
You locked her out of the house?
Just for to have it. To lock the door. Want to step back in.
May I say hey to her? Although if you locked her out of the house, she might not be in any mood to say hello.
No harm in foul, but I'm still an idiot, so whatever.
It happens. Yesterday, Emily said, "Hey AJ, will you turn the light on?" And then I went to the light and I looked up and went, "Hey you, what's your number? You look cute tonight. You want to go out?" What's in your mouth? Is that a bread tie?
Twist tie. So
yes.
Not far off.
Well, some bread have the twist ties. Like most bread has twist ties. Only the fancy bread has bread ties.
What, those like little plastic clips? Those are stupid.
Yeah, those are stupid. But they do make a good guitar pick in a pinch. And I do mean a pinch. Like parts of it are too sharp. You will end up breaking a string before the night's over with if you pick incorrectly. This is definitely a different perspective. Okay, there we go. This was like a Silence of the Lambs picture perspective at some point. He can. Steve, you need to be drinking whiskey out of your whiskey glass. We need to get this to you. Oh, cool. You can actually see the S on my face. Look at this. That's pretty cool. By the way, I thought it was bullshit, but you can actually taste, whiskeys taste different in this glass. You can actually get it really does. I thought it was bullshit, but it actually does, and you can actually get the aromas and everything. Am I coming through? Yeah. Well, this has been an interesting episode. What about now? We good? Steve's camera is off. Now I'm looking at a picture of him and his lovely missus. Hey, Steve and Kay. Hello. This is going to be a weird episode, so sorry in advance for that, guys. What else you got on your mind? You think 2021 is going to be worse? Oh, there he is. Steve, are you
I'm
back?
trying to figure out how to get back into. I can hear you, and now I can see you.
Yay, we're back.
Hey, yeah. So these are headphones that were dead in the last episode. They got charged, and my earbuds died. So bit of a fiasco having to relocate. So yeah, now I'm upstairs. Hands on the phone for this. You know, after this year, there is really nowhere to go but up among any other cliche.
Yes. We need to continue the Giorgetto Giugiaro. So he also did the Saab 600 and the Saab 9000.
I don't know what a 600 is, but I know what happens if you flip that 6 upside down.
The Saab 600 is basically a Lancia Delta, which is, the
The Raleigh? What?
yeah, the Rally, yeah, but yeah, that one.
But stylified, so but sounds aren't square. I'm very confused.
Several different
Although the original
Seats.
9000, although the 9000 was Spanish Volkswagen.
Uh-huh. And the Toyota Aristo, which is the Lexus GS.
It's so funny that the Lexus models that are so tarted up here have their Japanese counterpart names and often quite creative. I don't know, what is that? What the hell's an Aristo?
GS. But also,
I mean, did you want to make it the Aristo Cat? What's up? This is going to sue you for that.
the Lotus Esprit.
Funny you mentioned that. I saw one in Mint Hill the other day in red.
Excuse me?
It was lovely. Yeah. Somewhere in our dumb town, I'm claiming it because it's closer to Charlotte, lives a little free of later age. Couldn't tell you which, but it's the same design for 25 years. What do you want, man?
Was the spoiler like the Dodge Stealth spoiler, or was it more on the deck lid?
I think that's the sheer fact that I saw an Esprit on 218 was shocking enough.
Fair.
So I don't know.
He also did the Maserati Ghibli, the Bora, the Quattroporte, the Spider, and the Coupe.
Goodness. Like the earlier Quattroporte?
Yeah, the early one, the 76, 1976.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm on
The Suzuki SX4.
For being a little Ratmobile, that was a good-looking car.
Speaking of good-looking cars, he also designed the
I
Subaru
had a total-
SVX.
Nice.
Yeah.
On the SX4, I had one of the technicians at work after his Ford Contour SVT blew up for the last time. He went to an SX4 briefly, really enjoyed it, and then got a CRZ.
Interesting.
So the man had a penchant for odd vehicles.
Yeah, do you remember when I sold the TSX? I sold it to a guy and a girl who had a CRZ.
No recall.
She had he sold his Civic, and he got my white.
Why you remember your car stories, and now remember mine.
he had sold his Civic, and he bought my white TSX, and she had a white CRZ. And I asked him how he liked it. He goes, "Actually, it's a really great car." He goes, it gets a lot of hate, but he goes, it's really a really good car, and it gets really good gas mileage." Okay.
Yeah. It's one of the few thick hybrids available.
Yeah.
I think that and the concurrent Civic hybrid could be had with the manual.
I believe you're correct.
Everything else is, some sort of automatic. So as much as I like the looks of the Lexus CT200H, it's still a Prius.
Yeah. He did the Fiat 850, the Dino, the Panda, the Uno, the Chroma, the Punto, the Grande Punto, which is a hilarious fucking name.
Senor.
DeLorean. Like, this guy had a lot. He had a lot of feathers in it. The Ferrari 250 GT Berlinetta. I mean,
wait, like the one for the 60s?
Yeah.
Like the most expensive car ever?
Yep.
Yeah.
3-liter V12.
That's real funny considering that we've had V6s that size.
And Porsches have 4 cylinders that size.
Yeah, the 968.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, good. Do you want a 944 that doesn't look as good? We got the thing for you.
Yeah.
Do you want a 928 that can't get out of its own way? We got the car for you.
A 3-liter V12 would have cylinders, or would have pistons the size of bottle caps.
Yep.
But I bet it sounds glorious.
Yep. Have you ever been around a Mazda MX-3?
Yeah, the 2-liter V6 or 1.8-liter V6.
1.8-liter V6.
We had a girl that went to high school. I think she was a junior. I don't remember her name when I was a senior, but she had an MX-3, and we always called it the Turtle.
Yeah, because of how it looked.
Yes.
But that was the spiritual successor of the CRX to be a tiny 2-door hatchback thing. But with that tiny engine, it was a easily sounding V6 for being such a tiny motor.
Mm-hmm.
That my current 4-cylinder probably is a bigger displacement than that was. 1.8, 1796, whatever.
Niner. What was the biggest engine displacement? Yours was 3-liter, right?
3.0 V6. What's up, Camry?
All right, mine was 5.2.
It is hilarious. It's like, yep, that's it. That's as big as my engine's got.
And mine's 5.2-liter V8 from the Dodge truck. It was the most cylinders and the biggest engine.
For some reason, I can't bring myself to actually bite the bullet. I'm like, let's see if I can find a really nice '05 CTSV, because that would be the last of the non-supercharged ones.
Mm-hmm.
Part.
Yes.
But also 15-year-old GM.
Well, if you're gonna go 15, if you're gonna go 15-year GM, going Cadillac's probably the safest bet.
Yeah, that would be better than most.
Did you remember the Z06 Corvette window switches and radio switches were made of rubber? That's amazing. They thought, that's a good idea.
Well, have you heard about, I think Ferrari 355 on the fucking tire, they were talking about how badly the switchgear ages.
Yeah.
It's all your sticky over time. I witnessed that in particular with mid-teen BMWs and Land Rovers, that the shit just dissolves. I've seen a lot of stuff getting faded, and also workplaces pushing hard. Use acetone to clean stuff. Acetone eats plastic.
It does.
Mid-aught BMWs in particular, the start button and the driver inter.
He froze.
Easily
Oh, there he is.
Somebody. It could easily be because somebody is, using acetone gloves. Gloves get on the handle. That thing dissolves, and then by the time I see it, it's a big sticky mess. Now I'm part BMW plastic, or it's just bad plastic. I have no first-hand recollection of the E36 BMWs and their effort to make the greener plastic movement.
Yeah.
Made this car's age quite badly. That it's biodegradable. Well, 20 years later, yes, the car is biodegrading.
The more I look at the new Z, the more I fucking want one.
Nice.
I will never buy the first year of a new car. It's never a good idea. I'm sorry, Brian. It's just not. But if they do the Nismo, the new one's the 400Z is supposed to have 400 horsepower. The Nismo is supposed to have 450.
With the previous car, that was a first-year model, but also 12 years in. But that didn't totally suck.
Wait,
but that was a general break-in period.
Wait,
with the Vibe.
Oh,
that was an 03 model, but a July 02 build.
Gotcha.
That was pretty early. That is like, I think like after 12 years, 166,000 miles, it's been established this should do, and it did.
I want you to know
for $5,000 and 105,000 miles for 6 years, it'll do. Yeah.
I think if I get one, obviously white will be high up there, but I think orange. I think I might go orange.
Ooh.
I love white cars. I just do. But I want if I'm going to get a different color, I want it to be I want it to be a color.
Uh-huh.
But the Nismo, if the Nismo is lighter, more horsepower.
I got the third shade of gray.
Yeah, if the Nismo is lighter and more power, then I don't. You know me. I want cloth seats, good driving dynamics, manual transmission, 4 wheels. I mean, I drove a 370Z once.
Yeah.
Have you ever driven a 370?
I've moved a few, but to say I've driven it is a stretch. Weird layout. It's heavy. It feels heavy.
Mm-hmm. It is heavy. I drove that back to back with the S2000, and then I made my decision. And I think I made the right decision.
Yes, you did.
Resale value aside, I made the right decision. But if the 400 is lighter, then 400 horsepower is no slouch.
No. And my current car excluded, the horsepower gains are quite phenomenal these days.
I know your garden variety Camrys outrunning Ferraris from the 80s.
That's really funny that you could buy a 301 horsepower Camry nowadays. The transmission is hot garbage, but it's at least powerful. Like it's the Lotus engine.
Yeah.
Just like I claimed that with the Vibe, that it was Lotus Leaf engine. Like, yeah, it's this 8,000 RPM, 1.8 liter rocket ship.
Yeah.
Well, and now I have a newer Toyota 1.8 liter that's less rocket shippy, but thanks to Pedal Commander, it doesn't suck.
I thought about getting one, but I don't $300 hate my gas pedal.
I did for 2. For 300, maybe not, but it's really entertaining to sit randomly at punching in the eco mode to see how awful that is.
Mm.
Oh yes, it gets dangerously slow at that point. And one time returning from work, like I did the whole trip home in eco mode. It did worse. I had to suffer through 35 miles per gallon instead of 36. Oh no.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, the best I've mustered out of the new one is 21.5.
That on par with the best I got on the. No, that was the average on the 4-cylinder second Tacoma. I think the best I did was 25, but that was kind of like a grandma from Charleston. Worst I did was 17, gunning it the whole way to Charleston.
Well, I think the worst I ever got in any vehicle was definitely the 68 D100 that would get a solid like 12 miles per gallon if you had a load in the bed or if you were by yourself. It was
air. Is it running? It's 12.
Yep. It lived a long, noble life, and I was very sad when we finally had to take it old Yeller style. Steve, I am a little bit hungry.
What are you going to spoil a 50-year-old movie?
I think this one's done. You got anything to add for the lovely people at home before I go grab me something to eat?
A little cross-promotion of podcasts that are not our own. I think it was the 3rd appearance of Christian James Hand on The Smoking Tire.
Ah.
Every time he's on, elevates that show. Like, I already love the show, and ever since his first appearance, his Sunday sections are ever the entertaining. Him and Rick Beato have different approaches to doing very similar stuff, but the real takeaway of this is Tongue Splitters suck. I don't care if they have a Netflix show. It's just boring.
Yeah.
There's 500 podcast episodes of it, and, I don't know, 6 to 8 Netflix episodes. Watch the one about REM, and the rest of the catalog, I just don't care.
Watch The Cabin with Bert Kreischer, where he has comedian friends go and watch them do shenanigans and cleansing. And basically, we just watch the one with Bobby Lee and, oh my God, oh man, from Chappelle's show. I'm rich, biatch. Yeah. Donnell Rawlings.
Donnell Rawlings?
Yeah, Donnell Rawlings and Bobby Lee. That one's a blast.
Obviously not Charlie Murphy, rest in peace.
They had one where it was Caitlyn Jenner and Nikki Glazer. That one was interesting.
Fuck.
The other one was Miss Pat and then Kaylee Cuoco and Joel from The Soup. And Miss Pat shows up and Bert's in the hot tub naked. She goes, "Where's the rest of your dick, Bert, on layaway?"
Damn. Make K-mart special again.
It should be. Well, I'm hungry. And Steve, you got anything to add before we end?
I had this really creative idea to make this the 72 Club episode, but it can wait, and I didn't find all the answers I was looking for anyway. Rest in peace, Isaac Asimov.
He died of AIDS. Transfusion, not sexually. He had a blood transfusion, and he got AIDS from that.
I just saw he popped over my dead at 72. Wow, that's super fucked considering how influential he was.
Yeah. Well, for 72, we can do the 73 idea you had a couple from yesterday, the emissions.
Yeah. Did you double check that was the beginning of smog? I assumed it's that?
Yes. Esteban,
You should have a roll.
we're done. We'll see you later. I'm AJ.
I'm still Steve.
Steve, we'll see you next
Goodbye,
week.
everybody.
Bye.